Can you hear me now? Maybe I didn't have my mic on. Pro streamer here. Let me just check. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. Yay. All right, good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my setup, and I'm just having a look at, they've reset everything by the look of it, because this was the default setup. Yeah, so all of my settings that I had previously have disappeared. Okay, everything's disappeared. Now, I'm using a G29, so I'm going to run through the setup that I did have for my G29 to show you kind of where I settled at that felt nice. Okay, so the global force feedback, 100%. Now, the low force, I did have that up a bit higher. I had that up to about 30%. The brake feel, I cranked that right up, especially when you're driving the cars that don't have ABS. This helped me feel the brakes. Now, this may have all changed since this update. I'm not sure because they have reset everything. I'll try it, I'll test it and see what it feels like. But the brake feel, I had this cranked up. I might even had it up to 70 because the cars that have no ABS, I couldn't feel when I was braking. So by bumping this up, it made everything feel a little bit nicer. Force feedback smoothing, I did have this about 50% because the G29 is just a clunky old... yeah, it's a clunky wheel. Okay, so the smoothing just helped it stop rattling and doing all that weird stuff that it does. What have we got next? The force feedback headroom. I think I had that at 100%. Rumble strength. Okay, so that was haptic strength. That they've changed the name of that. That was haptic, and I had that up to around about 50. What that does, it lets you feel all the curbs. Okay, so when you go over a curb, whenever you go over a bump, a hot dog, a sausage, whatever you want to call it, you could feel it. Okay, the rumble strength was all of the details in the road. So I did have that up a little bit, and I think that's why I sort of had the smoothing as well. So it wasn't so much rattling, but it actually felt nice. Throttle pedal dead zone, I have that at 1. Throttle pedal saturation zone, I had that at 100%. So if I press my pedal all the way down, it goes all the way down. So I think that's what the saturation zone was. Throttle pedal sensitivity, I actually turned this down a little bit. Again, for the cars that don't have traction control, by turning my sensitivity down, when I put the throttle down, it doesn't come on super fast. So it just makes it a little bit less sensitive. So, you know, if I increase my throttle to around about 70%, it slowly comes in. And again, this may have changed since the update, so I'll soon find out. But yes, throttle pedal sensitivity, I had that a little bit lower. Brake pedal dead zone, none at all. Okay, brake pedal saturation, definitely you want that at 100%. And again, this is kind of for the cars, especially the cars with no ABS and traction control. This really helped. Brake pedal sensitivity, I turned that way down. Okay, so that way, when I brake, let me see if they've actually changed this, because before, when you hit your brake, yeah, that's coming up now. So the brake pedal sensitivity, I turned that way down because the cars that don't have ABS, if you have it too sensitive, as soon as you touch that brake pedal, it locks up. So by having my sensitivity a bit lower, I can kind of half brake and the car's not going to lock up. And now I have to actually press the pedal harder for it to lock up. Okay, so if I just press it nice and soft, it's around about that 80%. If I really press the pedal to the floor, then it should lock up. Okay, so that will help with cars that don't have ABS. Actually, that felt a bit too stiff. I think 70% feels a bit better. Again, they may have changed this with the update. Clutch, I don't use the clutch. I don't have my shifter set up. So that's kind of roughly where I had it before this update. So that was my settings. The main ones were, yeah, the low force boost. It just, yeah, the wheel felt very light. So by having that low force boost, there's always feedback in the wheel. The brake feel, that was a big one. I like to feel my brakes, so I did crank that up. The rumble strength, yeah, okay. So that's roughly where I did have it before the update. Now, they have reset everything to default for the update. It didn't save any of my settings. So I'm going to save them and let's have a look. Let's go and have a look and see what they've done. I'm just going to go into single player for now, race weekend. Now, what I will do, let's start with a car that doesn't have ABS or traction control, and give that a try. Okay, now if anyone's interested in doing some races, if anyone was dumb enough to buy this game like me and Mojo did and pre-order it, that's kind of the level that we're at is around about 80% to 80. I put it on 85 the other day and I was as quick as the AI. So that's roughly how quick I am or how slow I am. I'm as slow as an 85%, 80%, somewhere in between there. Okay, that's where I found the AI good to me. And look, I'm not a sim racer. I play video games. So if you're keen on doing some races with a couple of old blokes and you don't want to be topping the leaderboards, yeah, jump in, send a message. I will do some open lobbies, not today. I've got a bit on today, but yeah, the plan is to get a few people that we can race with, and hopefully on the older side. Okay, now these setups have changed. These have saved. Okay, so I had a few. These are the ones that the developers have done, so you can load them in. I'm going to show you my one, which I think feels absolutely fantastic on the G29. So there's not much I change, okay? When it comes to tyres and chassis, the only things I change in here is I turn my force feedback strength up. I do like the wheel to feel a little bit weighty. I'm young at heart, old man. Yeah, I know you are, Mojo, so am I. We're both young blokes stuck in old people's bodies. That's our problem. Load boost, this one here. Crank this up, trust me, crank up your load boost. That makes the biggest difference of anything that I've noticed. If you crank up your load boost, you will feel the car, you'll feel the weight transfer. You will literally feel the load of the car. This one here, I've gone up to around about 30 and it feels really nice. Feedback strength, that'll be personal preference. I do like my wheel to be a little bit weighty. And this is per car, so there's kind of two force feedback settings. There's your normal force feedback settings, which are your global settings, and then these ones are car specific, so you have to change them for each car. I have the exact same settings for each car, but that load boost, trust me, crank up load boost to around about 30, and it feels nice, or 0.3. The only other thing I do is I think I put my rear wing angle up, just to give it a bit more downforce, especially, again, cars that don't have traction control and don't have ABS, this is kind of the go-to settings for them. What's going on? Suspension, I didn't touch because I don't understand. Okay, I just want to get in the car and race. So suspension, I'm not here to be the fastest person on earth. I just want the cars to feel nice, and that's kind of where I've set them up. I just want them to feel nice. Fuel level, yeah, you know, if we get into races, we'll have to put fuel in the car. Brake pressure, down to 85%. Okay, again, cars that don't have ABS, I don't like my brake pressure at 100%. I find that they were locking up too easy. By taking our brake pressure down a bit, the ABS just worked a little bit better. You don't have to, you know, feather the brake so much. Now, the preload, this one here, I've seen someone else say that have it up to 300. I find that 150 works well. Clutch at 10. The big one here is these two. So this power ramp at 90 degrees, that will bring in the power more slowly. So again, the cars that don't have traction control, the power ramp, it'll bring in the power a little bit more slowly. So when you hit your accelerator, you're not just spinning the wheels instantly. And the coast angle, again, sort of, it almost alleviates understeer. So by having that coast ramp angle down low, the cars just felt better turning through corners when you're not accelerating, almost like a decelerate control. So that's where I have my car setups, and all of them, I had them all the same. Now again, this update may have changed things, so I'm about to test it out, but this is where I had all my car setups, and I had them all set up exactly the same. So tyres and chassis, all I did was my force feedback. Okay, I changed these ones as well. I didn't notice much difference when I changed them. The big one, load boost. Change your load boost. Trust me, that will make a massive difference, having that load boost up a bit further. Now let's go and see if they have actually changed it. Another thing I did, look, I hate cockpit cam. I don't like to see a steering wheel on my screen when I'm holding a steering wheel in my hand. So I can see my steering wheel when I look down at my hands. I don't need to see it on screen. So just a little tip, if you go into cockpit setup and seat position, I just put the seat all the way forward. So then it gives me my classic bonnet view, which is what I like. And, you know, that's all personal preference. But, yeah, if you put your seat all the way forward, you can get that nice bonnet view. Like I said, I'm not a sim racer. I just play games and set it up to how I find it enjoyable. So, yeah, look, I don't know if you'll notice, but it's definitely more colourful. It's definitely more contrasting. Now, do I have cold tyres? I did change my tyres as well. Let me just have a quick look. Yeah, the tyres are still cold, so I'll let them warm up a bit. And then I'll get on to the things that I've already noticed that I don't like. I'm just checking the force feedback to see whether it does still feel how it used to. It does, yeah. See, that load setting, you really feel the cars load up around corners. So I think that is probably the one setting that, especially with if you've got a G29, I don't know what it's like with other wheels. Mojo will be able to confirm. Yeah, so that's still locked up. Yeah, that's still locked up then. Let me just go back a bit. Let me warm up the tyres and have a proper feel. Testing out the brake, because that was my biggest issue with the cars without ABS, was the brakes were too touchy. So this car, no ABS, no traction control. I'm just trying to get it to feel nice, and that's all I care about. I don't care how quick I am. I just want the cars to feel nice. So let's see if they've changed the setup much. Yeah, see, that feels better already. That does feel better. Yeah, see, with that load boost, when you lose traction, you actually feel the car. Okay, so that feels alright. That feels okay so far. Let me start to push it a bit more. Yeah, force feedback's nice. So I don't think they've changed much from what I can feel. The GT3 cars have apparently changed a fair bit, so I'll go and give the GT3s a quick spin soon. Because yes, we have all these really nice cars in here, and my biggest issue was the cars with no ABS especially, they just kept locking up. The cars just kept locking up. So these settings that I've got now just make the cars feel so much easier to drive. Again, might not be the quickest person in the world, but the cars feel nice. So this is where the ABS was a real problem, coming down through here. It's still locking up a bit. Alright, that's still going to need a bit of practice. I still feel like the ABS is locking up a bit too easily. Let me just go and have another quick look at my settings. What I might even do is that brake pedal brake feel boost. I'm going to crank that right up to 100. Let's just see if it feels any... I can't feel the brakes locking up. That's my issue with this game at the moment. I can't feel the brakes locking up. They just lock up. Brake pedal sensitivity. Let's turn that down even more. Let me give that a try and see if it feels any better. Yeah, I'm just trying to set up the car so it feels nice to drive and I'm not locking up the brakes all the time. And I know it's a skill issue.
Clear.
I know it's a skill issue, but I just want it to feel nice to drive. Right, we're coming out on warm tyres that time. And I'll jump in, and I did have a quick spin of the GT3s. The GT3s, they're just easy to drive. Oh, that feels much better. That felt more spongy. Like I didn't pull up as quick, but... See, now I'm actually giving the brake. If you have a look down in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see how much throttle, how much brake I'm giving it. By having the brake a little bit more spongy, I have to really press it down to lock it up. Oh, it doesn't turn. Yeah, see, it's still locking up and I'm only half pressing the pedal. Again, that might be just something to get used to. Yeah, okay, that felt better. Alright, so that felt much better. So let me just quickly show you what I did there, especially Mojo. So what was it? The brake pedal sensitivity, I've turned that all the way down to 50%. So that just makes locking up a lot harder to do. So now, yeah, like I'm giving it... Oh, look, it's gone in reverse. I did that, didn't I? Yeah, okay. So that feels... See, none of these settings worked last time. Before the update, none of these were working. At least now I can actually press my brake pedal. So that's, you know, I'm pressing it pretty hard, and then I have to go all the way to the floor now. All right, so pretty happy with those settings. They feel good. Okay, so that's where I've got it, and that's pretty much how I had it before the patch. So the patch hasn't done much as far as the global force feedback settings. So again, this is for a G29. So G29's an old clunky wheel, and that feels nice. It does feel nice. So that's the cars with no ABS and no traction control. Now let's try out the GT3s. I did have a quick spin of the GT3s. And they are almost too easy to drive, as all GT3s are. Traction control, ABS, they've got everything. Let's go to a different track. What track will we try? Let's go Imola. I like Imola. So yeah, if anyone's keen to play, I will set up lobbies eventually. I have got another friend, and this is for Mojo. I had another friend who was keen to play, but he sent me a picture and he said, "Is this the game that you've got?" And he sent me a picture of Project Cars 2. So I might have talked him into getting a PS5 for starters. I said, "Look, don't buy this game yet." And look, if there's anyone... I cannot recommend this game at the moment. It is, and Mojo and I have spoken about it, this game is early access. It's not a finished game. It's very much an early access game that you're paying full price for. It's incomplete. Look, I like it. I've spent a few hours in it. I'm having fun playing it, but I can't recommend it to people. I can't, not at this state. Okay, so now to get onto my complaints and things they need to fix. So if any of the developers are even remotely listening, number one, a radar. You've got to have a radar, especially for racing online. you just put a radar in the game, simple as that. We need a radar so we can actually see the cars around us. Number 2, in the lobbies, if we set up a custom lobby, let us fill it with AI. Because I know there's only a couple of us that sort of want to play together. So, you know, if we were to get 5 or 6 of us, let us fill the lobby with AI. So at least we can get some full grids, because not everyone wants to, not everyone has lots of friends. And not everyone has lots of friends that are kind of at a similar skill level. And that's sort of, you know, we're lacking skill, let's be honest. We're not the most skillful drivers around. So it would be nice to be able to have a lobby with, you know, at least 4 or 5 of your friends, and then put in 10 AIs as well, and choose what level we want the AI at. So then at least, you know, we're not racing around, because, yeah, Mojo and I played the other day, and it was just the 2 of us, and, you know, it was nice to finish on the podium every time we played. But for people that just want to get on, have some fun, and not worry about leagues and all the other crap, let us do an online race and fill it with some AI. That would be nice. So that's kind of a big one. Yeah, this force feedback is all over the place. It doesn't feel good. I don't know what's happened, but yeah, all of a sudden the force feedback it's doing weird things. But yeah, radar, number 1. You've got to put a radar in a racing game. You know, we've got to remember, it's not a game, it's not a sim, it's a game. Okay, we need to see the other cars around us. Not everyone has VR and triple screens and all the fancy gear. So for normal people, need a radar. Okay, need a radar for a racing game. Now, this force feedback feels horrible. It felt good on default settings. Let me just quickly go back to my preferences. Or is it controls? Yeah, all of a sudden it doesn't feel nice. It almost felt like that rumble strength. Let me turn that the low force down a little bit. So yeah, the GT3s definitely don't feel as nice as they did when I first turned it on. It's pulling to the left. The car is pulling to the left and the right. Yeah, something doesn't feel right. Okay, yeah, the car's pulling to the left. Let me have a quick play. That didn't feel good at all. You know what? I'm just going to unplug my wheel. Let me just go back into the settings. Actually, let's try. Let me just reset it to default quickly. Reset to default and go back. Okay, the default is better, but it's got no feedback. Alright, now I need to work out. One of these settings was really messing with the feedback. It was pulling the car to the left. Now, Default setup feels better, but it's got no feedback at all. It feels... There's still rumble strength over the curves. God, these things are easy to drive. They do feel nice. They feel nice. Yeah, okay, so the default force feedback feels better. As in, it's not pulling to the left, but it feels too soft. It's way too soft. Let me just see if I can just tweak it a little. I'm just going to do one by one. Let's just crank this up and see how that feels. Okay, low force boost feels good. Yeah, I'm not trying to set the fastest lap here, just trying to get my force feedback. Okay, low force boost definitely helps. Okay, car's not pulling. There was... Something I changed was making the car pull to the left. I want to find out what that was. So low force boost feels good. I'm going to have that at about 50. Maybe it was the brake feel. Let me crank this up. See if that's what was pulling the car. Let me just adjust my pedals and seat and everything, just in case. All right, let's try that. Oh, okay, yep, it's the brake strength. Oh, that's a shame, because that was the one setting that really helped the cars with no ABS. Yeah, okay, it's this setting. This setting's making the car turn. This car, yep. Okay, that's all right. That setting is stuffed. All right, that's the one that's doing it. Now, let me go back into here. So everything I said earlier, forget it. Okay, so the brake feel boost pulls the car to the left or the right, which sucks because that setting made such a difference for the cars that had no ABS. You could actually feel your brakes working, but now it's just making the car pull to the left or right. So that setting there has gone from being my favourite setting to make the cars feel good to now making the cars feel shit. What was it on by default? Let's just try it at 35 and see how it feels. But yeah, back to improvements. Number one, they have to put a radar in. That's my biggest complaint at the moment. No radar. It makes racing online very hard. And there's nothing worse than taking someone out because you didn't see them there. Because your mirror can only do so much. So radar, number one. Number two is lobbies. Let us fill lobbies with AI. Lobby settings, you still can't change. You can't change anything. Once you've created a lobby, the only way to change tracks, change car, well, you can change the colour of your car, but the only way to actually change settings is to exit the lobby and start a new one. So that's something that needs to be fixed. Let me just go back into here. Yeah, that brake feel. It's pulling the car to the left or right. Let me get this back down again. I'm just going to mess with a few of these just to see. I don't want to turn my smoothing up this far, but let's just see what happens. Wow, whatever I did feels really good. Okay, so the smoothing has helped. And again, this might be just a G29 thing, but yeah, the brake feel boost was something that made a big difference with the other cars. Okay, this is getting close to nice now. Okay, we're getting somewhere. This is feeling alright. Okay, car's not pulling, so maybe it is the feedback smoothing. Now, what I'm going to do, let's get that brake feel back up again and keep them there. Let's just try that for now. Okay, car's not pulling, that's good. It is still pulling a little bit. Okay, it is still pulling a little bit. So what did I just crank up then? Whatever I did then made it worse. Yeah, it is. It's a brake feel boost. This one is, it's making the car pull either side, which is a shame. I'll go back to the cars without ABS soon and give it another try. Let's turn that down to 30. So the force feedback smoothing, let me just turn that down a bit as well. That did feel nice. Okay, so if you got a G29, I think the smoothing does help. Rumble strength, I'm just going to crank this up. Let's just see how this feels. I just want to see how that feels with some rumble strength. No, hate it straight away. That just makes my wheel vibrate and shake, and so I think I had that down to, let's go down to about 35. So the rumble strength just, yeah, you've on the G29 it just rattles and shakes. Oh. Alright, where I've got it now actually feels alright. In the GT3s. I'll just do one quick lap just to see how it feels. I deliberately went over the ripple strip then just to feel it. And to tell the truth, I didn't really feel the ripple strip. Which is not bad. I don't want it to feel too aggressive. Love this track. Alright, I think I've got the force feedback dialed in. It does feel good. Now I just got to learn how to drive. Okay, force feedback feels good with the GT3, so let me just quickly run through that again. Because anyone who's got a G29, give this a try. It's a good, it feels nice. Okay, so the low force boost, yeah, I do like to have that high. When you're not moving, it just gives a bit of weight to the wheel. The brake feel boost, I had to turn that down. That was The more I cranked that up, the worse it got. The smoothing kind of smooths out all the jittery, shaking. Force feedback headroom, I have no idea what that does. Rumble strength, don't have that up high, your wheel will just vibrate off its bracket. Pedal sensitivity, 100%. Okay, so that way when you press your pedal down, you don't want that too sensitive. Actually, that's all changed as well. Let me just get back. I actually like to have my pedal sensitivity down a bit, so it's not too touchy when I accelerate. Brake pedal dead zone. Okay, brake pedal saturation zone, you want that at 100%. And again, for the cars that don't have ABS, I'm going to have that down to about 80. And clutch I don't care about. Okay, so now let me save that. Now I'm going to go back to a car that doesn't have ABS and traction control and just see how they feel. I'll stay on the same track, so at least I know how they feel. These ones. We'll go the Dodge. The Dodge is going to really test out our brakes. So yeah, look, this update, to be honest, I haven't noticed much difference. I don't know what all the quality of life changes were. I haven't really noticed much. The things I want to see. Now, I'll run through this again as well. The only things that I really change here, the strength, I turn up the feedback in here as well. So this is per car. And the load boost. Crank up that load boost. I can't say that enough. Crank up that load boost, makes the cars just feel so much better. You actually feel the cars load up. So that's the big one there, the load boost and the strength. So the more you crank up the strength, the heavier your wheel gets. Suspension I don't touch. Engine and drivetrain. These ones down here have the clutch up to 10, the power ramp at 90, the coast ramp at 30. They're what I do for every car. The cars that don't have ABS, I turn my brake pressure down to 85, so then I'm not locking up, and that's kind of where I have it. So, and then I just save that, setting 001. Alright, now let's see if it actually feels alright. Yeah, my biggest issue with these, especially the non-ABS cars, they just lock up too easy. Keep an eye down in the bottom left-hand corner where my brake pedal is, and I will try not to push that brake pedal all the way to the floor, and hopefully the cars don't lock up. Now we're probably on cold. Oh wow, I've got no feedback at all. I've got no feedback at all. Good job, game. That's fantastic. I've just lost all feedback. Global force gain went down to 20%. I have to watch the replay back, but I don't think I turned that down. Maybe I did. Let me crank that back up to 100. Maybe Mojo can confirm whether I accidentally turned that down. I don't remember turning that down. Let's try that. Hang on, where's my tyres? There they are. Just want to see whether my tyres are cold or warm or what they're doing. Okay, that feels better now. Yeah, by having that load boost, you really feel the car lose traction. My biggest issue is brakes. That felt okay. Yeah, that feels right. That's my main concern. I don't want to be locking up my brakes. Yep, then that's fair enough. I did lock them up. My wheel would recenter. So just testing at the moment. I'm just testing my brakes. I've got the Viper with no ABS. Just trying to get a setting that feels nice. I realise how easy GT3 cars are to drive when you get in one of these things. Alright, let's see if we can do a clean lap. But yeah, I think I've got my force feedback dialed in. It feels nice. Now it's just a matter of getting these brakes sorted. Yeah, that feels alright. It didn't lock up. When I lose traction, I can feel it. I've been a bit too cautious here. So this is where you need the radar. I cannot tell where that car is beside me. So yes, game devs, put a radar in the game. Especially for online. You have to have a radar. And then I just got to learn how to drive. Okay, brakes are feeling good. That's all I'm really doing at the moment. I'm just testing my brakes. Trying to find that sweet spot of locking up and braking. Yeah. Alright, let me just quickly return to pit. I just want to try something out. Let's go down to 80%. Okay, we're coming out on warm tyres, that's good. Went back and you didn't change. Oh, okay, so I didn't change that mojo. Alright. Okay, I'll finish up soon. I'm not going to be on for much longer.
Clear of pit lane.
Just want to have a couple more laps with these cars with no ABS just to get them feeling nice. Yeah, that's good. Too busy watching my brake strength as I brake rather than, because yeah, that brake boost, it's a shame I can't have that up high. I can't feel the car under brakes. That's my biggest issue at the moment. I'm not feeling the car under brakes. It just all of a sudden locks up and goes. But it definitely feels like a Dodge. Big old heavy. Yeah, that's good. I actually gave the brakes a fair bit then just to see what they would do. And they're not locking up as quickly as they were. Okay, I did actually lock them up then, just to see. Alright, I think I'm pretty happy with where my setup is at the moment.
If it doesn't feel good, you can come in and we'll change some stuff. We've got time.
want the car set up so I can actually concentrate on driving. Yeah, okay, that's good. All right, I'm pretty happy with where I've got it set now. So again, just to wind things up, G29, this is where I've got my settings and it feels good. It's a shame I can't turn this up. Before the patch, I had that up to about 75 to 80%, because then I could actually feel the brakes. I could feel what the brakes were doing. Now with the patch, the car's pulling to the left or the right. If I turn up my brake feel, the car pulls to the left or right. So sort that shit out. At the moment, I have to have that down low. Otherwise, yeah, that one, that's a shame, because that really helped the cars pre-patch. But now I've got to turn that down. So brake feel boost at 30. The force feedback smoothing definitely helps on the G29. The rumble strength, if you turn that up, the wheel will just shake and rattle. And the rest, saturation zone, have that up high. Throttle sensitivity, again, this is probably more for the cars that don't have traction control. Just having it less sensitive. When you put the power down, the power doesn't come on as quickly. So I do like to have that a little bit less sensitive. Brake saturation zone, you definitely want that at 100%. The brake pedal sensitivity, again, down to about 80%. That way when I brake, so if I have a look here, okay, there I'm giving it a fair bit of force. I have to really press it down hard to hit 100%. So that's going to help you with the cars that don't have ABS. GT3 cars are just easy to drive. But yeah, that's if you're struggling with the cars with no ABS, brake pedal sensitivity, turn that down a bit and turn your saturation zone up to 100. That's about it. That's how I have my force feedback settings. Okay, and then again in the cars, so each car, let me go to return to pit. Each car, I have the same setup. Okay, so the only thing I change is my force feedback strength, so that just makes the wheel heavier. I think by default it's on 1. So if you find that the steering's too light, just change it per car. Rack feel, I haven't really played around with these much. Well, when I say I haven't played around with it, I didn't notice a difference. I went all the way up, I went all the way down, I didn't notice a difference. The load boost, that is the big one. Trust me, crank up your load boost to at least 30 and you'll actually feel the car doing things. These ones here, I settled on them, but again, these didn't make a big difference. Really, load boost strength, that's all we need in there. Suspension I didn't bother with. Again, this is probably all changed since the patch. I don't understand all that stuff, so I don't care. Preload at 150, clutch at 10, and these two make a big difference. The power ramp, again, that's sort of, from what I understand, that is how quickly the power comes on. By having it down low, the power came on really quickly and I was just spinning out. And same with the coast. With the coast, I have that down. So those two all the way up and that one all the way down. And finally, the brake pressure. So again, this will be car dependent. If you're using a car that doesn't have ABS, just turn your brake pressure down and you won't lock up as easy. Okay, so now I have to go buy a G29 to use your settings. Yeah, well, look, I think you'll find that most of the settings will be similar, Mojo. I think you'll find that most of the settings will be similar, especially the brakes. That's kind of the biggest one that I had issues with, was the brakes. So even without the G29, just the force feedback settings, they will all differ from wheel to wheel. But when it comes to the brake pedal, turn your saturation zone up and your sensitivity down, and then I just find that, yeah, the cars won't lock up as quickly and as easily. They will still lock up, but you've got to really give it a fair bit of force before they lock up. So give that a try. And just to finish up, this is more for the devs. Not that the devs are ever going to watch me, but if I go into multiplayer, look, this is where these games are fun, when you can set up a lobby, invite some friends, and get them in. So if I was to set up this lobby, for example, lobby settings, we can have 32 players, but there's no AI in there. So like me, I've only got one friend, and that's Mojo. And we have to join other people's lobbies just to get a race. And then, half the people are super fast, half the people are super quick. Half the people are super quick, half the people are pretty slow. Me and Mojo are pretty even. We're kind of on a fairly level playing field. And we have got a few other people kind of in that same skill level. So it would be nice to be able to fill it with some AI, okay, rather than have 32 people, half of them are going to be super quick aliens and half of them are going to be, people that don't really play racing games much. Let us fill it with AI. Okay, even if we could just put 10 AI in there just to get some cars on the track. And the other thing is, like, all of this all I'm all fine with, but the problem is once you create the server, and the servers run fine, like that side of it, everything, like the servers do run well. Once you've sort of created your server, so if we've got our little group of friends and 10 AIs in here, let me change tracks, okay? The only way I can do it is to exit all the way out and change. Now, actually, that's something, I'm going to quickly try this. This was another issue that I had. The other issue that I had was that people can't join when I'm in a practice session. Let me quickly try this and see if people can join while I'm in a practice session. How do I... Oh, here we go. 32. Friends only off. Crossplay on. Okay, I'm going to create a server. I want to see if people can join while I'm in practice mode. Because this was the other issue. Well, we set up a server the other day with a practice mode, and people couldn't join. People can't join a server once it's started. Like similar to Gran Turismo, create a practice lobby and then people can join in while we're in the practice session, and then you can skip to qualifying. Let's just see. I'm just going to quickly set up the car. Is it still set up? Yeah, it is. Okay, so let's. I'll give it 10 minutes. If people don't join within 10 minutes, I'd say that people can't join. And I want to see whether I can actually skip. But yeah, this is another issue. Like, just let people join while you're in a practice session. Once the qualifying starts, then yes, lock it down, close it off. But while you're in practice, let people join. So let's see if they have fixed that. I don't think they have, but let's so if anyone's online and anyone's watching, see if you can find me. I've got it open, so it's not friends only, it is an open lobby. See if you can find it and join it while I'm in a practice session, to all 2 people that are watching. Because apart from that, I reckon this game's okay. I reckon it's okay. I cannot recommend people to buy it. Buy it when it's on sale. Put it that way. It's one of those games where it is. It very much feels like an early access. They've got lots of bugs to sort out. And the good thing is they've done, apart from the day 1 patch, they have done 2 patches to fix things. So yeah, look, graphics, I don't really care about graphics. It is what it is. It looks okay. It feels good. It does feel good to drive. I like the way the cars drive. Love the car selection. Track selections, yeah, we could do with more tracks. But the cars just feel nice to drive. Once you get them sorted out, and that's kind of another bit of an issue with this game is, yeah, it's a bit of stuffing around just to get the cars feeling nice. Like straight out of the box, they don't feel nice. You do gotta go and play with force feedback. Car setups, I haven't really tweaked with car setups as far as suspension and all of that stuff goes. Mainly just force feedback and brake feel. But yeah, having that load boost, yeah, I can feel the car when it's going to go. That makes a big difference. But yeah, by the look of it, once I've started a lobby, people can't join. I'll jump on with my controller. Won't race though. Yeah, jump on and just see if you can see the lobby. See if you can at least see the lobby and try and join it. And then if you can join it, then bonus. Then what I'll do is I'll see if I can skip to qualifying, because that's going to be my next test. See, I can probably do that without. Let's yeah. So you can't skip like that. That another thing that shits me. You can go, like if you set up a 40-minute practice session, you can't just quit the practice session. Like, you can do it in a normal race. You can do it with the AI and the career mode. You can skip, you can start your practice session and just skip straight to qualifying if you want, but you can't do it online. So, yeah, if we're in a 40-minute practice session, we've got to either exit out and restart. There's no way. Can't see your lobby. No, I didn't think you would. I didn't think you would. Because I have got it open as well. So, yeah, look, that's, you know, don't buy the game. It's as simple as that. I bought it. I'm getting my fun out of it, but I can't recommend it at this stage. Like, yes, it's fun to drive. Like, when you're driving the cars, they are good. They feel nice to drive. But the fact that lobbies are stuffed, lobbies are almost useless. You've got to exit out every time you want to start a lobby. Like, you know, if I was to go into one of these, we're going to see everyone will be sitting there waiting to start, waiting to ready up. Otherwise, yeah, lobby full. So, like, you can't even join a lobby until everyone's readied up. See, and then this happened to me and Mojo the other night. We created a lobby and we were sitting here for 10 minutes waiting for people to ready up before the lobby would even start. So even as the host, like if I could ready up now, as the host, you should be able to say, all right, if these people aren't ready, I'm just starting. So, yeah, the multiplayer side of it, fix it. It's not great. Single player is fine. I'm having a bit of fun with the single player. The challenges, yeah, I can't challenge the challenges. And there's no reward for doing it. You know, unlike Gran Turismo, and used Gran Turismo as an example, at least you get rewards for doing things. Even just finishing a race, you're winning money, you're winning cars. This, you don't get anything. You don't get anything. So, yeah, that's my other complaint with the career mode. The career mode, well, yes, you do get race money and then you can go and buy a new car. But, like, you're not really unlocking anything. It's a very bare bones career mode. You know, you start with, you can start with whatever you want to. If you go to new career, you can start with 600,000 if you want, then just buy all the good cars. And yeah, career modes, I've lost interest in it already, to tell the truth. I want to do multiplayer. I want to race with some real people. So just you and me at this stage, Mojo. Yeah, my other friend, he might buy a PlayStation 5. I did tell him, I said, look, don't waste your money on this game just yet. I was hoping this update was going to do some of the fixes, but no, this update's done, Jack, really. Yeah, I haven't noticed much difference. Anyway, I'm going to finish it there. I've got stuff to do. I might jump back on later tonight. I'm not sure yet. But cars feel good. That's the one thing I'll give this game. The cars feel good. They do. I like the way they drive. They feel nice to drive once you've spent friggin' 6 hours setting them up. All right, I'll finish it up there, and I'll be in touch with you later, Mojo. And for anyone else, if anyone's keen to jump in and do some online races, I guess you can set. I don't know how we're going to do it. Just keep an eye out. I don't know whether I'll live stream much. I just wanted to basically show you my setups for my G29 and how to make the cars feel nice. All right, I'm going. I'll catch us all. Pro Streamer signing off. How do I sign off?